Howdy YouTube. It is the end of February when I'm shooting this, the 28th. And it is raining cats and dogs outside, so not only is it time, it's a good day too with the rain to work in the shop and get some equipment ready for spring and summer here. And for in this instance, I guess fall too. So beginning season maintenance on a chainsaw. This is a Stihl MS210C. Right there. Let's get to it. Okay, so the first thing I like to do is we're going to clean all the sawdust and stuff off of it if you haven't already. You really should try to clean it off when you put it away, but I guess I was lazy, like I usually am. It's a mess. It's a mess. So what we're going to do is we're going to clean it all really good. The first things I like to do is take the bar and chain off. And now yours may be done a little differently. Mine's got the, I forget what they call this, the easy tension, easy adjust, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of it personally. So there you go, just pop the cover off. Turn clockwise to loosen it. Pop off the bar and chain. It's a little wet because I had to carry it through the rain to get into the shop. So, yeah. Set those aside. I like to do the motor first. That's just my preference. So, take the cover off. I didn't run this very much, so I didn't think I'd need an air filter, but for this year, apparently I was wrong, but we'll blow it out and I'll pick one up eventually. Anyway, we'll worry about that later. I don't really bother with pulling this cover off. It's just my preference. Sometimes I'll pull the recoil cover off and it looks fine for now. We'll see, maybe I'll pull it off. But anyway, just get everything so you can get into all the places. Now, if I was outside, I'd just take a blowgun to this. But I'm in the shop and I don't want to make a mess everywhere, so I'm going to wipe it down with paper towels and a vacuum. Especially this, because this isn't getting blown off. This is cake. It's caked on there, so we'll vacuum it and scrape it and paper towel it off and whatnot. So yeah, I'll get to doing that, and we'll bring you back. Okay. That's all clean. Ish. So what I'm going to do now is wipe it down with a paper towel just to clean it up a little bit. It's not going to be clean, you know. It's a tool. Still going to be a little greasy, oily, rather, because it's got oil all over it, not grease. But anyway, basically just wipe extra gunk off that you couldn't get with the air gun, because I did resort to the blowgun. So just is what it is. It was easier. So wipe it down with a paper towel. When you're cleaning, sometimes I will pop these Torx heads off. There's 4 of them, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And like if it's really dusty and chippy, or if you're having recoil problems, recoil start problems, if it doesn't catch. I know I've seen some videos about like Huskies, especially the way their recoil works. You got to clean them regularly, or else they won't catch. So if you have a recoil problem where it doesn't catch, it's more than likely dirty. Just pop this cover off, clean it up, and whatnot. So I get the case cleaned up pretty good. Get all the big chunks of shit off of it with the air gun. You want to make sure your fins are clean on the engine and your exhaust is clean around the exhaust, because A, the exhaust gets really hot, so it could catch fire, and B, the fins, it's a 2-stroke, not, you know, air-cooled engine, so your fins are what keep the engine cool. You don't want to cook your engine by not cleaning it. So there's that. There's this. This is where the air cleaner covers. It's rarely dirty. I just blew it out and wipe the outside of it. Keep it all nice and clean. Same with this. Just wipe the outside of it. Inside's clean. Not gonna worry too much about that because it's gonna get dirty the first second you saw into something anyway. But you want to make sure it's clean, especially if you've got this style tensioner. I'm not a huge fan of it, but it works. Now for the bar, take your tool that comes with it. There's a flat blade on it. Well, first off, if you have this tensioner, pop this screw off. You're going to have to pop the screw off if you're going to flip the bar, which I would recommend if you haven't in a while. You want to keep your bar wearing evenly. I'm not going to worry about it with this one because there's another video coming up where you'll just have to see what we do. But take the flat blade and clean your bar out. I blew it out pretty good, so it should be fine. Just watch your... Got a little bit out of it. Wipe it down, make sure where you took that gear off is clean. For those of you who don't know, there's your chain, your bar specs. So there's your length, 16 inches, your gauge, 0.05, which is the gap that the chain drive rides in, and 55 at your tooth count for your chain size. And this takes a 3/8 Pico chain. Now, my bar, I don't have a bar crimper, I don't have a bar dresser. My gap here is a little bit, it's an old bar. It's the original bar. The saw's, see, it's over 10 years old. So I'm just, spoiler alert, the other video is going to be a new bar. But it's gotten hot over time too. But if you take your hand for your bar here, and you can rub your hand down from the center of the bar out towards the rail, you can feel there's a burr. So, excuse my reach. I don't know what happened to all of my files, but you want to dress your bar up. Any burrs you want to file off. That way your bar doesn't, that'll snag your bar up in the tree. And you don't want that. So basically just go all the way around, cleaning the edge up. I'll probably do a separate video at some point on bar dressing and cleaning and maintenance and blah blah blah, just so people can have that if they don't need to do their whole saw. Here's a So you'll want to wipe it down. Maybe take your blowgun to it again. Be good to go. Voila. So I already had it flipped. We're going to flip her back. The gear for this, I'll do a video on the adjuster here too one day. Not today though. Just line that back up. And there's only one hole that's threaded. The other is not, so the screw goes in that hole. Take your tool. Cinch it down. Your bar's mostly done. Right here, excuse me, this is a greasable bar, the sprocket right here. If you see, there's a pinhole, not a pinhole, but it's very small, right at the sprocket. So you get yourself a bar grease gun. Okay, get yourself a bar grease gun. And you can grease it. Give 2 pumps on that side. 2 pumps there. Spin it. I was just checking in a hole in the desk, making sure it is greasing, which it is. So pump it up again, spin it, for good measure. Just spin it the other way. Yeah, there's grease coming out the tip there. So that's plenty. Just wipe it off. Now you have a greased nose sprocket. And that just allows your bar to last longer. So, yeah. Your bar's done. It's a nifty little grease gun there. It was like $5 at Home Depot. A lot of bad reviews on it, but apparently people don't know how to use it properly. So, there's your cover for that. Chains. Here's your chain. Again, mine's very dull. They had these ground at a local hardware store. They heated the tooth up very bad, so now I can't hand file them, and I don't have a grinder, and I don't feel like taking them there every time I need them ground. So, whatever, the bars, I'm getting a new bar and chain, so, like I said. But there's your chain. Get them ground. Learn to hand file. That's one thing I'm learning to do. Myself is learning to hand file your chains. Learning to round file them currently, then eventually, maybe, I'll learn to square file them. But anyway, that'll be pretty cool. Or I might just buy myself a grinder and make it that much easier and do it myself. Not overheat them. So, that's just the cover for this. We're going to talk about this. I believe there's a filter for your oil. Oil's up here. Honestly, I've never changed it. All you got to do is reach in. There's a line with a filter on it. Get like a pick. One of these bad boys right yonder. Just reach in there, pull it out, pull the filter off the line, put the new one in. Same with the fuel. I have changed the fuel filter. Last year, to be exact. I haven't used it much, so I'm not doing it again this year. And, like an idiot, I left fuel in there over the winter. So, just reach in. Take a little doing. It takes a little doing, and I'm trying to... There we go. Boom. Just like that. There's your fuel line, fuel filter. So just pop the old filter off, pop a new one on. I did that last year. Not doing it this year. Didn't use it too much. Here we go with that. Air filters next. I obviously should have an air filter. I didn't use it much. I replaced it last year. Thought it'd be fine. She's gunky. She's gross. So I'll have to pick one up. I do not have one currently. So you need your little flat blade there to help you. That's what it's here for. You want to make sure your choke is closed first off. That way nothing goes down in the carb. You just want to make sure that's clean, which it is. Air filter, just pop a new one on. I thought I'd be good, but obviously not. I need to get a new one, but until I get a new one, I'm just going to blow it out. Sorry. So this right here, this is your it's a little shield thing. I forget exactly how it works. I think one way is for winter and one way is for summer. I know that for a fact. I do not remember which one is which. Or you take it out for summer. I don't know. I think you take it out for summer, if I'm not mistaken. I'd have to check the manual, but we're just going to ignore that for now. Spark plug. Reach in there. Pop the boot off. Just like so. Your tool is also one end. This would be for your bar. If you had a normal bar, your bar nut right there. Little tip: if you take a torch, heat this up, and then bend the handle a little bit, it makes it easier to get your bar nuts on and off. But anyway, that flathead is for the tensioner and for cleaning your bar out. And I'm sure there's some other uses, I don't know. But that side right there is for your spark plug. Stick it on there. Some Haas put this on before. There we go. And you just loosen it and get your fat sausage fingers in there and take her out. She's dirty. Now remember, this is a 2-stroke, so if you see some oil in there, it's fine. What I like to do is peek down in there and give her a tug with a flashlight. Check the walls, cylinder walls, which you can see they're good, not scored up. I do have some carbon on the piston though, and I'll show you what I do about that. But this takes an NGK plug. I'll have to Google there's your part number. It's a BPMR7A. That's for this still MS210C. But anyway, she's a little dirty, gummed up. Not really gummed up, but carbony and whatnot. So I'm going to real quick Google the gap. I don't remember off the top of my head. I didn't write it down. I'm not going to get the manual, because that's one manual I do not have downloaded onto my phone. Okay, correct. Okay, so according to Steel, all their engines for their blowers, trimmers, chainsaws, 20 thousandths on the gap of an inch. So, what do I want to use? I'm going to use this. There's a few different, there's a few style plug gappers. You have the feeler gauge, which is my preferred method. But see if there's a 20. There is a 20 on this, and it's broken off. So we're going to have to use the old feeler gauge method. On the feeler gauges, usually top number is thousandths of an inch, and bottom is thousandths of a millimeter. There's 14 thou, 16 thou, 26, 10, 12, 15, 16, 17, 18, 20 thous right there. So we need that. First off, you could replace the spark plug, and I do, but not every year, because I don't use this stuff that often. So what I do first is I take a thing of carb cleaner or brake cleaner. I spray the plug off. And take a wire brush, soft one, not too delicate. You don't want to break anything. So I use a brass brush, sometimes even just the nylon bristle brush, and clean it. Now I started doing this because I think it's from my trimmer, weed whacker. I think the recommended service life is 10 hours or something incredibly stupid on the spark plug. It's something ridiculous. Probably not 10 hours of use, but it's something stupid. So, well, and I noticed, you know, depending on what I'm doing, I could use my weed eater for 3 to 5 hours a weekend. So, I was like, that's not happening. So, what happened is, I'll make a video on this. Long story short, it would bog down, and I figured out a couple things that would help with that situation. So, the plug did need replaced, but not happened. So, brake cleaner, or carb cleaner. Then you get all the gunk off it. Nice and clean. Check the gap. Just a little snug, so it's perfect. Gap is good. That's simple. Just slap her back in there. You could put a very small dab of anti-seize on there if you wanted to. I do not on my small engines. On the cars I do. Sometimes, if there's been a bitch to get on and off. But that's snug, and then just bump it a couple times, make sure she's snug. You don't want to go too crazy. There we go. Okay. Put this thing back in there. Okay. Okay, so spark plug boot. Snap that back on there. Boom. Put this doodad back in there so we just don't lose it. I've always run it with it like that. I don't know. Air filter. Like it so. I do need a new one because that's now kind of loose. So I'll get a new filter. Put your cover back on. Lock it. Open your choke up. for your chain. Take your adjuster. On mine, put it in all the way is how I do it. Put the bar on. Grab your chain. Make sure you don't get it all tangled and messed up like I just did. There we go. Now, gonna make sure your chain's on the correct way. So, cutter edge on top, facing towards the out, like away from the saw. Sorry. Cutter edge on bottom, cutting towards the saw. Get your bar in place. Rest your chain. Kind of hard to do with junk in your way, like a camera tripod, but whatever. Get your chain on the bar. Around your sprocket. Real quick, the sprocket, something else you might want to check. If you run it auto, if it's an older saw, just for grooves. I've got a little small grooves, but I think I can get another year out of it, and we'll probably replace the sprocket. So, just get it tensioned up a touch, just to hold it on there. I put my cover back on. It's easier if you don't have this system, I'm telling you now. But it is what it is. So what I do is I start the knot. Get the case on there all the way. Back it off. And make sure the bar is on there all the way. So, you snug it up. Make sure you hold the tip of your bar up. Okay. Hold the tip of the bar up. Adjust it. And back it off a touch. Again, sorry. Tripod's in the way. There we go. Now that's set in there properly. Check the tension. It's a bit tight for my liking. A bit loose for my liking. We got like it right there. So when you check your tension and you tension, make sure your bar is a little bit loose. Your bar nut, so you can move your bar around a touch, and you can slide it in for tension. Hold your tip of your bar up. Pull your chain. Something just clicked into place there. So you want your drives to be just out of the rail. So I got to tension mine up some more. Again, this tensioning system, there's a learning curve, and I personally do not like it. I'm calling that good right there. Tighten her up. You're good to go. There. Last order of business. When you're going to use it, you'll top off your bar oil. You'll top off your fuel. You'll fill it. If you have a brain that didn't leave fuel in it over winter like I did. Last thing I do every year, or once or twice a year. I do it every beginning of the season, and sometimes I do it during the year, especially in the stuff I use more, like my trimmer. And I used to use the STP stuff. I can't find it anymore. So gum out. Multi-system tune-up. What I do, take this, I start shake it up. Just, I don't know if you're supposed to or not, what I do. Then I just pour a dash in there. And that's it. Top it off with fuel, let it run. It'll smoke for a little while if it's dirty, but it's just cleaning some stuff up. I like to run it, and honestly, I notice a difference when you run it. It cleans your power, your saw up, or whatever you're running it in. It cleans it up nicely. You get a little bit more power out of it. Get it running back like it was new. Last thing you want to do is start it up, let it run, let her burn some of that junk off, rev it up a good bit. After it's warmed up, you never want to just start it and run it balls out, because that's a good way to ruin your engine. Check your bar, make sure it's getting oil. Yeah, I should have showed you the oil port, but there's a little trough with a pinhole in it. That's your oil port. You can, if you just don't know if you're getting oil, here, I'll show you on this new bar. So, spoiler alert. Right there is your oil hole for your bar, and it lines up with a trough, because your bar slides. So that hole lines up with that trough, and the oil comes out of a hole about the same size in the saw, down the trough into that hole and down your chain. Now, so it comes in on the top of the bar, and it gets pulled down the saw and around. Keeps your chain lubed and your sprocket, but this has a greasable sprocket like I showed you, so that helps. But if you're questioning if you're getting oil, probably not the safest thing to do, but I pop the cover off, pop the bar and chain off, start the saw up and rev it. You'll see oil splurging out of that hole. But besides that, you're good to go. Your saw is ready for this season. So, I hope that helps you guys with your chainsaw. This is on a Stihl MS210C. Like I said before, but this is basic stuff for any chainsaw, really. And, yeah, so thanks for watching. Hope that helps you guys. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more. I've noticed a lot of my subscribers, a lot of my views are not from subscribers, so be sure to hit that subscribe button and the bell to be notified when new videos are out. You can follow me on social media, Facebook, Instagram, both K30Crazy. And as always, I like to end my videos. Until next time, stay crazy and have a good one, people.